Hello, everyone, and welcome to 9 Pitches. My name is Jack from Cultaholic. This is Andrew from Cultaholic and Ross from Cultaholic Wrestling.
What's the difference?
Two different things there.
Yeah. It's WrestleDream.
Yeah.
WrestleDream. This is Saturday, isn't it?
It is this Saturday night, aye.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
A few days time.
So soon.
It is a thrown together feeling card this time for an AEW pay-per-view, in my humble opinion.
Fair enough, yeah.
More so than most that have come before it.
I don't know if any matches have been added really quickly last night, because obviously, as we record this on Wednesday, Dynamite took place on Tuesday.
However, my pitches are pre-Dynamite this week.
As are mine.
Because we do this at 11 a.m. and you cannot watch Dynamite and do the pitches. Come on now, before 11 a.m.
No, it's unacceptable.
That'd be egregious.
Impossible.
I don't know if it affects mine. I can't think it does off the top of my head, but we'll find out. We'll wait and see. These are 9 pitches for AEW WrestleDream, where we'll each go around and it's just Tony Khan said that one time, didn't it? WrestleDream. Sound like Ultimate Warrior.
WrestleDream.
Oh.
Kind of Tony Khan money.
That's like the voice we used to bully Mrs. Napton with at school, the supply teacher.
Why did she used to sound like
She
that?
just had the name Mrs. Napton, so everyone would go, "Yes, Mrs. Napton," and then she had a little mental breakdown and left.
A mentee bee.
Just because her name was Napton and it sounded funny in that voice.
We had a teacher called Mrs. Cheeseburger, and everybody used to call her
No,
Miss
you
Cheeseburger.
didn't.
You were going there.
This is not true, is
He's
it?
over there. This lad over here, right? He claims he had a teacher called Mrs. Cheesecake, and it's not
Joe
happened.
reckons. I
No,
heard,
we
I
had
heard about this.
Cheeseburger,
No, I can accept that. That's
and we used
that's
to
just the
call
most,
her Cheeseburger.
surely that's just the most common surname in all of Yorkshire. Oh,
yeah,
cheese,
yeah,
bruh. Yeah.
Gravy mine.
Yeah.
Mrs. Cheesecake.
Before I explain the rules, Joel did claim apparently on the podcast that I missed last week that you have a teacher. You had a teacher called Mrs. Cheesecake.
Yeah, well.
I thought she was called Mrs. Cheesecake, but in looking back at it now, she couldn't have been.
She must, how old were you? How old were you?
It was primary school.
So she was lying to get attention from
Well,
children.
no, she probably had a different name, and I've just remembered it as
You're right.
Cheesecake, I imagine. I'm going to call my mum and see if she remembers.
Yeah, let us know on the podcast tomorrow if you can. Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
9 pitches. The rules are we go around in a circle. Ross, then Andrew, then myself. Ross, then Andrew, then myself. Ross, then Andrew, then myself. And we're left with 9 wonderful pitches for AEW WrestleDream. But remember the golden rule. It's not what we think's going to happen.
It's what we want to happen.
It's what we dream will happen.
Whoa.
That's right.
WrestleDream.
Yeah.
So last week on Dynamite, we learned from the mouth of John Moxley that this match against Danielson, the Bryan variation, he's wanting to put the old vegan cow out to pasture. It's not about John Moxley doing that. It's about Moxley playing with something much bigger than himself, direct quote. He's having to do these things because nobody else can and nobody else will. A second direct quote there. That's because they haven't been where Moxley has been before and they haven't seen what Moxley has seen before, as we'll learn on Saturday night. So the match is going on between Moxley and Danielson, and it ends cleanly with Danielson getting the win.
What?
Following the match, Danielson's celebrating, Moxley is not. We get the old tried and true handshake spot from the losing wrestler to the winning one. It's out of character for Moxley, but again, he's playing with something bigger than himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you smirking at?
I like it already. That's why.
I'll save my thoughts. For
Oh,
later.
okay.
Oh, I'm braced. As soon as the handshake goes down, connection is made. The lights in the arena go off, and what we hear next is absolutely devastating. Here comes the money!
Here we go.
Mikey Ruckus remix. Ba, 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 ba. We know how Mikey Ruckus likes to do things. Shane McMahon is here, and he dances his way down to the ring as the people inside the arena go wild. Shane gets in the ring. He's like, "Hiya, Brian. How you doing, pal? Congratulations, but I need to speak to John." You know how Shane McMahon goes.
blown up already.
Yeah. John, I'm sorry, you failed, and I can't have failures with me. And as Shane is breathing heavily and saying what he's saying, Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow are approaching Moxley from either side, but from the rear, so Moxley can't see them. Wabba Bosh! The big boys take down Moxley and beat him up. Then Shane starts talking about how since that Netflix thing came out that some people might have seen, I've realised my dad was not only a dick to me, but he was also a dick to lots of people. So I'm here to take AEW to the stratosphere and knock that other place off the top spot, which I'll then jump off that top spot because I am Shane McMahon. There's only one thing holding this place back, and that's the EVPs, and they need to be exterminated. And to go back to Shane McMahon as SmackDown General Manager, on site. Remember those days?
Gee, yeah.
SmackDown, it's on site. Under siege.
Under siege on site.
Yeah.
Elite, we coming forward to power, and we're not alone. He ends the promo with mic drop, he leaves. So I think everyone's expecting Shane maybe to turn up and be aligned with Moxley, as Moxley's seemingly been acting on behalf of Shane. But I think it would be nice to see Moxley, in the face of defeat, get whizzle-wazzled by Shane, and then Shane go off in another direction, just because it's unexpected.
So Moxley was working for Shane initially, but he's turned on him because he lost.
Failed.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun,
We'll let you go first.
I was going to let you go first.
Okay.
Andrew, grow a set of bollocks.
I'm
mate.
going to
We've
grow a
done
set of
this
bollocks.
for 5 years.
I'll tell you what I do
Give it
like.
to me.
I'll tell you what I do like about it, right? I tell you what I do like about it. I like the Will Hobbs thing.
All right.
I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. I like the fact
He can't do it.
No,
He can't
hey,
crazy.
I have decided
if you
yet.
don't
I'm
like
telling
it,
you.
say how much you hate
It's
it.
not that I don't like it.
Oh.
I'm not saying that I don't.
Oh,
You're putting
you
words
are
in my
such a
mouth. You're putting words in my,
politician,
you're
yeah.
putting words in my mouth, right?
Come on, just say it.
Yes.
What?
It's good.
It's like that scene in Friends when they're eating the trifle made by Rachel. And meat
telling
and meat
you.
trifles.
This is like
Wonderful.
WrestleMania 24. Ross's flag. He's on his knees waiting for the super kick, and you can't do it. You can't
I'm
do
not doing it. I'm
Why?
not doing it because don't why me when you've
You clearly
written this
hate
out.
it, but you can't
I
say
don't
it.
hate it. Do you know what? I don't hate it because you've not done the obvious with it.
Oh.
That's why I don't hate it. And you
Yeah.
brought Will Hobbs in on this as well. And lest we forget, the last match that Hobbs had before he was out with injury was with John Moxley.
Oh, he's brought it round.
And therefore, that's why I like it a bit. Quite a bit.
But what about the rest of it, though?
No, if he's going for the EVPs on site, then I kind of like that as well, to be honest. Is
What do
Shane
you
getting
what do you not
involved?
like about it?
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. Pretty much everything I like there, don't I?
Oh.
Just I guess, just Shane.
Oh.
Just
Shane.
Just Shane.
But we're living in a world where it's happening.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we very well might be. What are you saying then, Jack?
Well, it's a no from me.
Yeah.
I don't think you've finished yet.
Yeah.
No, I
think there's still more to be said
I think
here.
I've finished.
All right.
I think.
What is it, yes or no?
I said yes. Yeah. All right then.
No.
No. Okay. Yeah.
It's a no from me.
Oh, no.
Why? Don't do this to me. I believe it. I just... Initial doubts when the handshake happened because he tried to kill him with a plastic bag.
Correct.
Aye.
Oh, so you're aware,
That wasn't
you're
him, though.
aware
That was
of
Shane McMahon's directive at the time.
Oh,
He's just
right.
playing mind games, though,
And
isn't he?
I just, my own personal taste, I really like this Moxley new heel direction he's going in, and I feel like that might have been cut off a bit short for me. The way you presented Shane, though, isn't, because I'm kind of against Shane coming into AEW in real life, but I wouldn't be against it the way you've done it. So it's not like a flat out no.
See?
See, it's constructive, Andrew.
Aye.
Yeah. But
But,
it's also cutting at the same time. That's how to do it. Constructive, but cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right then.
I can't wait for this. I can't wait for your pitch. I can't wait for, obviously, but I can't wait for the aftermath of this.
Oh, it's going to be... Andrew's the best one here.
No, that's
Oh,
not
I
true.
thought you were getting
That's
ready
not
to
true.
tear it apart.
no.
Well, we'll see.
I will if
because-
it's bad.
We'll see. 'Cause
I'll
I've
let you know,
struggled.
Andrew.
We'll see because I've struggled. Right, here we go. I'm going Darby Allin versus Brody King right now. Right, it's going to be a violent match between two violent boys built around Darby wanting to finally get that pinfall victory over Brody, whilst also giving himself a bit of a confidence boost in seeing himself as the face of the company, and that's very much the narrative that comes into play during this match. Darby does what he does best throughout the bout. He's on the back foot against King, but continuously fights back to avoid defeat. At every chance he gets to capitalise, however, he's cut off by Brody King. We can see the doubt washing over Darby's face, whilst on the opposing side of things, Brody is just having a wonderful time in the punishment he's dishing out both mentally and physically to Darby Allin. Towards the end of the match, though, Darby spies an opening. Brody hoists Allin up for a fall-away slam position. He goes to toss him overhead, but Darby counters it into a crucifix bomb for a close 2 count. Exhausted, Darby drags himself up to the top to hit a coffin drop, but the off man Brody King is able to recoup and catch Darby mid-flight, hitting him with a doctor bomb before just deadlifting a lifeless Darby off the canvas for a follow-up Gonzo bomb. 1-2, but no, it's just a 2.999 to 999 to 9.
Kick out as well. It's one where he like contorts
Oh
his
yeah,
spine.
one of them. It's desperation, which I've actually written here. Brody can't believe it. Neither can Darby, but we see his eyes are glazed over as he just rolls out onto the apron Desperation. Brody follows and immediately applies a sleeper in the spot I feel like we're all familiar with between the two at this point. Oh, yes. Before Brody can dangle Darby off the apron, though, Darby fights back. He starts viciously punching and headbutting his way out of the hold. He climbs up the turnbuckle post, but as he does, Brody catches him once again, this time in an electric chair position, only for Darby to reverse it into a poison rana on the apron. Oh,
that's sick.
Oh, sick AF, mate.
Can Brody do that? Yeah, probably.
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an athletic boy. Oh, aye. With Brody stunned, Darby tosses King back into the ring and hits not one but 3 coffin drops to seal the deal. Darby gets the win. 1, 2, 3.
It's a yes from me.
This guy already is seething.
Oh, okay.
He's got constructive criticism. Yeah. Both men are completely spent and battered, but we get a little showing of respect between the two. Not a handshake or anything, but just an acknowledgement, a little nod or something. Brody leaves and heads up the ramp as Darby celebrates, with Allen collapsing to his knees after the bout and signifying that his path is set on looking towards the AEW title once more. As he leaves, he turns on the ramp to drink in the adulation from his home state crowd, beginning to believe in himself once again until he's bulldozed from behind. The camera slowly pans up to reveal a returning powerhouse Hobbs on the warpath. Hobbs has no expression. He's just stoic, no smiling, no nothing. He just lays into
he's
Darby.
Always smiling as well.
Oh, he's always smiling. He loves smiling. He just lays into Darby brutally, and just when we think he's done, he picks Darby up and throws him off the ramp. He powerbombs him off the ramp through the tables that are usually set up below with all the wires and things on. Hobbs just lets out a visceral roar before he turns to leave, only for MVP to be standing at the exit tunnel. He just hands Hobbs a card, and then the segment ends. I've not said where we're going.
All right,
with
Triple
this.
H.
All right, I'm sorry.
No, that's a very solid pitch, Andrew.
Thank you.
That's very solid.
It's all well and good for Darby, though. You
Yeah.
know, he's always been whizzle-wazzled at the end there. But what about Brody King? What about the boy? The boy who's held back by this House of Black gimmick, in my humble opinion.
Well, then after this match, he can do something that helps him break away from
He's
that.
shown
can't he?
respect to Darby.
Yes, he's shown
Yeah.
respect to Darby, which shows he has compassion.
But he's given his all, and he's lost.
He's lost against one of the faces.
Yeah,
of
but that's the
Sorry,
thing.
I'm really
He's
defending Andrew's picture.
He's basically he's pinned Darby all these amounts of times before. Darby's never pinned him. Darby's
Has
got
he
this
not?
one. No, Darby's got this one up on him, and he's like, hey.
The wrestling business is a what have you done for me lately business, Andrew.
It's
and
true.
I'm
It's
not
true.
happy with the booking of one of my favourite
you're right.
boys.
But
He's
what
one of
about
my
Darby,
boys.
who needs to get some more wins to get back to
He'll
his
be
position?
fine. Darby can lose all the matches he can
Okay.
because he bumps like a fiend. It's
Yes,
fine. It's
yes.
his style.
Okay.
But Brody King, I need more
I'm sorry.
faith put behind him.
Wow.
Okay, so, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
No, that's fair enough.
Just personal preference. It's what we want to happen.
It is what we want to happen.
It is what we want to happen.
It's a big yes from me, Andrew.
Thank you.
I like it a lot. I think that Darby, as you mentioned in the pitch, I'd actually forgotten about this, but Darby is from Washington State. He needs the big win there, and he needs the big win, in my opinion, after losing at Wembley in that weirdly straightforward win for Jack Perry, and then
forgot about
losing his
that.
title shot to Moxley and looking like a bit of a mug
Yes.
in the process. And I like the little seedlings of Brody King maybe going off on his own.
Hopefully, we can only pray.
And there was another bit that I liked. Oh, the
Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs stuff, yes,
Thank
an
you.
MVP. All very good.
Thanks
It's
very
a yes
much.
from- This video has got off to it's like the start of a big Premier League match where the tackles are flying and it was something in the air.
Quite tense, the atmosphere in here.
Why is it 10?
I don't know, just there's an edge to the air in here at the minute.
Okay.
Just, Joel, how are you feeling? Is it reaching you across there?
Yeah, you can cut the tension with a knife in here.
Cut it with a knife, wow.
Spork.
Or a sport. Mine's also quite action heavy. I'll be honest, right? I got rattled by a comment on a previous Pitches video. Which was like, another one where Jack books 6 months ahead instead of just focusing on the show.
Oh, I have one of them as well, and I was like, I'm going to stop now. I'm
I
gonna
was
stop.
rattled. So this one's all about the match.
Come on.
I can't remember if I've done. I think it's all this show. This one. I'll not retire the book in 6 months in
course,
advance.
hey,
But I
you
think
do
in this
you.
instance, I read it and I was like, complaining about me putting more creative energy into a pitch. All right.
Oh yeah, just take the easy route. Just book the show and then move on.
Sometimes that's not the easy route. Though. I think it was one where the show was like so predictable, the results of it. Anyway.
Sometimes you got to justify it, don't you? And then be like, this is why this happens, because then here,
Yeah,
this happens.
exactly. But this one, it's all about WrestleDream. Ospreay, Ricochet, Konosuke Takeshita. The match begins with a three-way stare down, and suddenly Ospreay and Ricochet hit a double super kick on Takeshita, sending him out of the ring. Shades of Triple H versus HBK versus John Cena.
Yeah.
Ospreay and Ricochet have clearly worked this out ahead of time. Don Callis is fuming on commentary. He's like, "Whoa, this is screwing over my boy." But instead of squaring off, and now having a flippy off, they head to the outside and continue to beat Takeshita down. They drag him onto the timekeeper's table and play a quick game of rock, paper, scissors to decide who puts Takeshita. I think they do that. I can see them going, oh, bro.
Yeah, Ricochet would drag him down like that. Superheroes?
Yeah, it's like the Avengers, isn't it? They're in the heat of battle, but they're just throwing quips out like Iron Man
And I know he does the
Spider-Man.
Assassin's Creed thing before the comments started.
Yeah.
It was a little joke.
Ospreay loses the game of rock, paper, scissors, so he heads up top and takes one for the team. He hits one of his many high-flying moves, I couldn't decide which one, to send Takeshita through the timekeeper's table. But Ricochet instantly grabs Ospreay and rolls him into the ring. He's going to go for the cover, but goes out, just reaches out a hand and pulls Ospreay to his feet with a cheeky expression like, just kidding, and they have a singles match, basically. Eventually, Takeshita, though, recovers and comes back in with a vengeance, laying in a lot of his lovely elbow strikes and his knees and suplexes and stuff. At one stage, he seems to have Ricochet beat, but Ospreay breaks up the cover and goes for the pinfall himself, and Takeshita breaks it up, and the two rivals glare at each other and then have a furious brawl, which spills to the outside, and Ricochet hits a huge shooting star press onto both men on the outside. As the match hits its closing stretch, it's Takeshita back in control. He's about to hit his finisher on Ricochet, but Ospreay flies out of nowhere with a hidden blade to Takeshita. He throws Ricochet out the ring and sets up Takeshita for the Tiger Driver, but Callis has rushed to ringside and skims a screwdriver in to Takeshita as he's dangling between Ospreay's legs. Oh, sorry, I don't know.
That was how he looked at you there, Andrew.
You like that sort of banter?
No, I was just like, oh, the drama.
Smutty and Yonder, isn't that funny? It's all good. Takeshita has the screwdriver now. Ospreay, before Ospreay can even lift him up, the Alpha, that's what he's still called, right? Takeshita,
Yeah.
he drives it into Ospreay's knee, or like the back of it, or like his hammy or something. Takeshita hits Ospreay with the Raging Fire and makes the cover, but here's Ricochet to save the day just in time. Now it's Ricochet's turn to gain momentum. He heads up top to finish off Takeshita, but he gets shoved off the top rope by Kyle Fletcher. Boom. Boom. Ospreay limps to his feet and confronts Kyle. What are you doing, bruv? This is my match, bruv. Takeshita rolls him up from behind. 1, 2, no! Oh. I love writing matches.
God damn.
Kyle-
My heart, Ross.
this is awesome. Right. Kyle finds the screwdriver on the canvas and Callis urges him to hit Ospreay with it, but he can't bring himself to do it. That's his best friend in the world. Whoops, just kidding. He turns around and blasts Ospreay in the head, busting him wide open.
Oh my goodness.
Takeshita finishes Ospreay with the big running knee and becomes the new international champion. The Don Callis family stand tall, and they're all very naughty boys. Oh, you're buzzing about that.
Oh, yes.
You want Takeshita to win this
Oh,
match?
yes, I do. Very much so. And also, I mean, I like the it's not the, I don't think it's the obvious thing. I feel like Kyle Fletcher will align with Will Ospreay.
Oh, I think he's going to turn on him.
Do you reckon?
Oh, I don't know now you've said that.
Oh,
I think you'll be forced to turn against him.
By
Don.
Oh, okay.
Where did he go on the plane? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, was there a video?
Before Ospreay and Ricochet, Don was like, come on, Kyle, you've got to catch a flight, son. They never said what. Unless they have done and I've just missed it. There's a chance.
Also, there was tension in their tag title match against the Bucks because Ospreay was a grass and stopped him from using the screwdriver and went, Ref, you try to use that.
Yeah.
Depends what kind of contracts they've got signed with Don.
I like it a lot because
Thank
you've
you.
given Takeshita the belt as well.
Are you a big Takeshita boy?
Yeah.
I don't know if I knew that. I feel like I knew that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Ross?
Ah, it's a yes for me as well.
Yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat. I like the turn, I like the finish. I like Takeshita being the champion as well. Needs to be utilised more as Big Kanosuke.
Do you think he will win?
I don't know because it looks like they're setting up for that Okada Takeshita match as well.
Oh, God.
Which one would you rather have him win?
Which of the belts?
Yeah.
All of them.
The international one. I feel like the continental one, I don't really care for it.
I agree. I agree.
It should just be a tournament, and the prize is you've won the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ross.
Yes. Brody King and Darby Allin are allowed to do the kind of things the pair of them would do, or would you expect to see from them in the parameters of a singles wrestling match. Ultimately, Brody King is the man to come out on top because he is the dog's bollocks, Andrew. And I'm sick of him being held back, I'll say it again, by being seemingly associated with the House of Black gimmick because clearly it has a ceiling in AEW, even though I think that ceiling should be a lot higher. Malachi, a direct message for you. If you want to go somewhere else, piss off.
You could say that ceiling is painted black because of my.
Ah, very good. good.
Holding them all down.
Holding them all back, man, Malachi. Go away. After the bell with Buddy and Malachi in the ring with Brody, Brody eats the pair of them and leaves them lying in the ring with a long and vicious beatdown. The beatdown goes on for so long and it's so awkwardly brutal that the entrances for the next match are forced to start. They're going to run out of time of the show otherwise. Shibata makes his way down the ring and he confronts Brody, but when he does so, he's eaten alive as well. Jack Perry arrives on the party bus. When he arrives to the ring, he's eaten alive as well. As Brody has lost the plot good and proper now, there's absolutely nothing that can stop this man. The beatings handed out to Shibata and Perry means their match is actually wiped from the card, with Brody stealing the TNT title and leaving the arena. Tony Khan makes it known through Excalibur's headpiece and Excalibur's mouth thereafter that Perry and Shibata has been rescheduled for the Dynamite after WrestleDream, which brings Brody and the TNT title back out onto the stage. This is later in the show, obviously. Brody grabs Excalibur's headset and screams, "Tony! Make it a three-way or Excalibur gets it." We can't hear anything, but after about 5 seconds of Brody going, Brody's lost the plot again and power bombs Excalibur through the announce table. Something we have yet to see happen in AEW.
And Excalibur goes, I don't know if everyone saw that, but he just powerbombed me.
It'll have maximum effect because we haven't seen Excalibur get physical yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Not quite as much as Vader spaffing on that gorilla in the 1990s, if you know what I'm saying. Brody raises the TNT title and takes off again, and so we start on a long storyline of people having unofficial lights out type matches trying to get the TNT title from big bloody Brody King. I'm picturing the title starting off looking gnarly like it does now for Perry's unique title design, but over time it becomes even more warped and beaten and gnarly, and it just feeds into the aesthetic of Brody King. As I said earlier to Andrew, my constructive yet cutting criticisms, Brody King needs pushed, and I'm sick of waiting. I've written that down, Andrew. I'm sick of waiting.
I'm sick of waiting. He's put it in caps as well.
That's how you know
That's
I
how
mean
much
it.
he means it.
You know, hey guys, even though Ross has done the opposite of yours and I gave it a yes, I'm going to give this one a yes as well.
You're gonna give it a
So
yes.
these videos are wild.
It's crazy, right?
Such a greedy boy.
I know. I want my cake and to eat it also. No, I like it a lot. I know that you've had Brody batter a lot of people there, but the name is involved. I don't mind him battering. Shibata, it gives it more impact because he's got this injury history. Jack Perry. And I think that the one drawback was beating Darby after he's had two big losses recently already. But I think it's Darby Allin. He can always bounce back from a loss.
Yeah.
I just think it's really good.
Do you like Jack Perry?
Yeah. I don't have like.
What is it you like about
He's
the current scapegoat character that really compels you?
I've got a Jack Perry pitch, to be fair. But... who's your least favourite wrestler in AEW?
Oh man, that's a. Well, I don't know if it's a tough one. I
Willow
don't really
Nightingale,
think.
what's she?
No, I like. I do like the sort of like Jack just being different now. But he doesn't have much else other than that. He's got a nice title belt.
Yeah, it is nice.
That's
We
nice.
need to transform you into the Simon Cowell of this series. You need to start going, that's crap.
But other than that, I don't know.
He's got good hair.
He does have good hair. And he has a nice beard now as well, sorry. That's it.
Oh, I don't like his beard.
You don't like his beard?
But
I
I think
think
it
it
fits
suits
his
him.
character.
Yeah, I think it
I like
suits
his
him.
bus.
Yeah, his bus is pretpretty good.
Do you like the bus?
I like how timely he is with his arrivals into towns. He gets there like 5 days ahead of the show just to make sure. I like the aesthetic of the bus. I'm not sure what its purpose is, though.
Who hates the bus?
Matthew hates the
It's
bus.
Matthew, yeah.
Why doesn't Matthew like the
He
bus?
doesn't really explain. He just goes, he's in his bus.
Fair enough. I like it because you're giving Brody King something that he very much needs and deserves.
So why didn't you give him it?
Because I was thinking in terms of Darby Allin instead, and that storyline. But yeah, Brody with that title already with the way it looks now would suit Brody so well. But I like the idea that it gets more warped as well as time goes on and everything. And the fact that you've not turned Brody face, he's just more heelish and more of a bastard.
He's just Brody.
Yeah,
He's just him, man.
doing what he does.
But everybody would cheer that anyway, wouldn't they, as well?
he's a big boy.
He's cool.
In more of an AEW wild sort of way, it reminds me of Bronson Reed's sudden, like, whoa, he's just battered Rollins, and that worked. So
Yes.
why can't you just push someone instantly like that?
That's true. Yeah.
Come on,
like it.
Tony.
Do it.
Imagine if he watched these. I don't think he does.
Oh, I think he does. I shouldn't have done my impression of him now. I sounded genuinely worried.
He
there.
might be really
he
happy,
never
though.
watches. He never.
He might be
watches.
like, "Oh, that's really nice that they do that."
The impression of him.
Yeah.
You know the press conference, the one where he went, "I'm not gonna stand for this effing ass."
Yeah.
I swear there was like a voice deepener on everyone at that press conference.
I think it was.
Meltzer asked a question. It was just like a rumble. It was like,
Decode
A little bit of
victory.
rough and tumble, eh?
yeah.
Loves a bit of rough and tumble from the rugby league.
I've just seen next on Andrew's sheet, he's got one for Danielson versus Moxley.
I
there.
do.
Now, knowing that you like to pack your pitches with a lot of
aye.
emotion, I
aye.
feel like this one's gonna. Is that what's got? is that what is in store?
Well, so things have happened, right? I wrote this one yesterday, and then Dynamite happened, and it's kind of stolen bits that it could have waited for.
he does.
Couldn't it?
Tony's stolen from us.
He's stolen from us.
Okay.
He's accessed Andrew's work computer.
his Google Docs.
Hacked into his
He's
Google
hacked
Docs.
into to the mainframe, right? Yes, as Jack said, Danielson versus Moxley next. So at some point during the show, we hear from John Moxley, who says Danielson has his word. Tonight, there'll be no interference. Moxley just wants it to be the two of them in that ring to give Danielson his final dance, to die a warrior's death on his home soil, to give him the ending he sorely deserves. So after, another brutal and physical match, much like the Darby and Brody one, Moxley targets the neck of Danielson throughout, and towards the end of the match, he even pulls up the padding outside of the ring to hit a Death Rider on Bryan on the exposed concrete. Moxley is very much in control. John rolls back into the ring and goes for the pin, but only gets a 2 count. Moxley quickly transitions into the Bulldog choke, but just when it seems like Danielson is out, the champion rolls him over and reverses it into the label lock. John manages to break the hold, getting his foot on the rope, but Danielson quickly capitalizes by taking hold of Moxley's arms and kicking his flipping head in. You dickhead. Moxley, however, manages to pull Danielson into a triangle choke and just hammers Danielson's head with elbows and fists as the champion seemingly begins to fade. There's blood everywhere, everybody, imagine it. But in a callback to the end of their Revolution 2022 match, just reversed as commentary calls out, Danielson manages to roll and counter it into a pin. 1, 2, no! Kick out. But that's how Moxley won at Revolution 2022, you see.
Yeah, and then Regal came out.
Yes, and then slapped him and they all kissed. So with the champion in a daze, Moxley decides it's time to put this one to bed. He takes Danielson's arms and just starts laying the boots into his former friend's neck and skull until Bryan's body is limp. He hoists him up and hits the Death Rider, but that's not enough, is it, everybody? He wants this to be a grandiose moment for Danielson as he ends his career for good. Moxley tears away the ring canvas, exposing the wooden boards underneath, and hooks Bryan's arm, ready for one final Death Rider. But Danielson... Wait, what? Oh, sorry. But Danielson pulls out all he has left by countering behind. He hits a German suplex to Moxley where he hooks the arms and he does it on top of the exposed ring canvas with the arms still hooked behind and not letting go. He transitions it into a cattle mutilation.
Oh, I think he could do that as well.
Oh, he's an athletic man.
Is Moxley trying to do the thing on the boards? Is that a DQ? No.
It's fine. It's fine.
I guess he doesn't actually hit it on it.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, Danielson hits a German suplex on it and then the cattle mutilation. And Bryan Danielson retains his title with a pass-out victory.
Why are we all wanting Moxley to lose this
It's not time for it to end yet, Jack.
It's not time.
Okay.
We can't have him go home to Birdie B.
He's ending his full-time career.
As long as he's at home at Christmas time.
But then commentary were like, he's ending his career.
But then Danielson goes, I might wrestle sometimes.
Yeah.
It's weird. They've been very vague.
It's odd. But after the valiant victory, however, here comes Pac, Claudio, and Marina Shafir because they're heels, and Moxley clearly had a plan B for if he didn't win. So Shafir and Pac come down, and they bring Danielson to his knees. They hold him in place as Claudio helps up Moxley, and as Moxley comes to, Claudio slowly reaches into his pocket to reveal he has possession of the hammer that Yuta lost possession of last week at the 5th anniversary of Dynamite. Hammer. He passes it to John. He passes it to John as they both look towards a helpless, bloody Danielson, and that brings out Wheeler Yuta, who tries to make the save, but of course he quickly finds himself surrounded, yet not attacked, however. Instead, Moxley looks at the hammer, he looks at Yuta, before finally telling him to pick a side as he hands the hammer to Wheeler, and conflicted the tension builds as we await Yuta's decision. He raises the hammer towards Moxley, before turning towards Danielson, only to crack Pac with the hammer instead. Loosening the Geordie man's grip of the champion, Yuta tries to take everyone out, but is quickly compromised as Shafir locks him in a chokehold. So Claudio holds Danielson back in the corner as Moxley takes the hammer once again, telling Bryan that this is on him, as John gestures that he's about to strike Yuta with a hammer. But just in the nick of time, slides a masked figure brandishing a steel chair, chasing away the heels and standing by the side of the baby faces. That figure revealing themselves to be what was or would have been yesterday a returning Daniel Garcia, but he actually returned, so he messed it up. Daniel Garcia makes the save.
I like that though, and I think I would have actually preferred that to how Garcia actually came back. It was a good promo and everything, but it's just like him going, I'm the best wrestler here and I'm the best. Whereas that, and he's got history with Bryan.
And Yuta as well. And that's what I was thinking. Maybe because Yuta's sort of being conflicted at the moment about where to go.
He's such a little
He's trying to be pulled here and there. And maybe with Garcia in the fold and Bryan being like, thanks for saving me, Daniel Garcia. And causing a little bit of tension there. Things could be like, tantalizing.
I'm so torn in this one because, again, like I said with Ross's one, I just feel like it's too soon for Moxley to lose.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
pass out victory though,
And also, it is Bryan. It's elongating Bryan's farewell run. But now, if I give yours a yes, and I didn't give Ross's a yes,
well, you don't have to give it a yes.
I'm gonna give it a yes.
Wow,
I know.
Yours
had Shane in that.
It did.
I'll give it a begrudging yes as well.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Just because I'm struggling to care about Wheeler Yuta and which side will he pick, and we want you on our side. No, we've never steered you wrong. Here's your trio's title. he's going, I'm a big, I don't care about him. But the way you've done that well with the hammer, the game of whack-a-mole, it was quite nice. Yes, so I'll give it a yes.
Thank you. That's very kind. What? Does he come? What?
No, he doesn't know. If they can find a safe way to do it, Jack Perry beats Katsuyori Shibata by targeting his head in a way no one really has since he returned from his career-ending injury in 2017. This should make everyone proper hate him. Boo, you nasty man. You scapegoat, even. As Shibata is helped to the back, Perry grabs his TNT title and gets on the mic, not remorseful at all. He tells the crowd about how he's one of the people that helped build this very company, and he's never been accepted by the fans like the others have. They were quick to give people sick freaks like Darby Allin a chance and make him their hero, and at one stage, even a reprehensible maniac like MJF was the most popular man in this weird company. That just goes to show how illogical these fans are. He still hears support even to this day for people like Hangman and Swerve, men who've done terrible, terrible things. And what did Perry do to deserve all the hate? He just stood up for himself. Stood up to someone bigger than him, one of the most popular and influential people in this business, someone who had the power to end his wrestling career. But Perry didn't care because he stood up for what was right. He stood up for AEW. Maybe that's why the fans can't relate to Jack, because they could never imagine doing something so brave and something so selfless. And that's fine, because even though we can't handle Perry still being our TNT champion and the face of this company, he'll still continue to hold it proudly because he knows what we need better than we do ourselves. He's interrupted by a bit of beep, a honking horn from the entranceway.
Oh, what-ish?
Someone's hijacked his bus.
Oh, not the party bus.
The what?
Not the party bus.
Yeah, not the party bus. Which he seems to leave unlocked all the time, sometimes even with the door open. So it's not too much of a surprise that someone's just walked in.
All wrestlers do that, though.
Just leave the...
Yeah, when Trick Willie drives in the car park the next team, just leaves his car with the door wide open. What's that about?
Yeah.
That's the most dangerous car park there is going.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
The bus is driven down the ramp by a bus driver in a balaclava who climbs up onto the roof and dives into the ring like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He beats Perry down for a while until the TNT champion finally gets out of there and runs away through the crowd. And the masked man unmasks to reveal that it's Ricky Starks. He picks up the mic and the TNT title, which Perry has abandoned, and cuts a promo about how Perry is full of lies. He's not the outsider or the rebel he thinks he is. It's pretty hard to be a scapegoat when you're best friends with the EVPs of the company and get undeserved opportunity after undeserved opportunity. Meanwhile, Starks has been cast aside and can't even get booked. And why? Because he's not in with the Bucks? Because he's not best friends with Tony Khan? Or maybe it's due to who he is friends with. People like Cody Rhodes, people like CM, and he gets tackled by security and they drag him off screen.
Typical AEW. Focusing on the other place instead of themselves.
Oh, no.
It's enough for me. Just because of that.
Okay, fair enough.
We always say on the podcast, we just focus on yourselves. And also, our personal preference, I want to see Ricky Starks make the jump, make the leap.
Fair
Not
enough.
because I'm WWE over AEW, just because I think it'd be featured better over there than he is in AEW.
Yeah,
or has
fair
been in AEW.
Yeah.
Just a personal preference.
That's a personal preference. I do quite like it. I like the fact that you've kind of, there within that promo, you've given Jack Perry personality.
I just feel like they've not ever fully explained what the scapegoat thing's about.
Yeah.
Because like Ross says, maybe they can't do that without sounding like they're just still going on about CM Punk.
Yeah.
That's what it is, though, isn't
That's
it?
hard, though,
Yeah.
isn't it,
He
for
was
him?
suspended for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he went to New Japan and was like, I don't want an AEW contract.
Yeah, what was that about?
And then he's in AEW.
now he's
a champion.
Yeah.
I like it. I actually really like it. And if Ricky did stay in AEW, I would prefer for him to go into a bigger program rather than sort of like
Well, yeah.
just working.
I feel like if he stays, they have to acknowledge that he's been away.
Yes.
He can't just come
Yeah.
back and have like a feud with Darby or something. Like it's got to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And he has to be some sort of rebel.
Like Rebel.
What?
Like the
Reba?
Yeah.
No, not like her.
Oh.
No, he has to be a rebel.
I'm only messing. I got it.
I don't know what's going on. I feel like when, like the old British wrestling thing where one wrestler curls up into a ball and just extends a hand and the other one's like,
What?
do I take the hand? I feel like that.
No, that I liked it. I actually really
Thank you.
like it.
Cheers. I'll take the what? One up and one. No,
Yeah.
not up and down. One yes and one no.
The crossing.
What, a Soma and a what?
No, no. I said an up or a down.
Oh,
Like
you're allowed to
Simon
say that.
Miller. I know,
That's
but it's-
our friend.
That is our friend, but it's not our series anymore.
Oh my God, shooting.
Yeah, I saw Simon went to the Emirates the other day.
Did he?
Yeah, he went to the Arsenal match.
Good for
Yeah.
him. Did he have a game kickabout? Did he? What was happening?
I'm just trying to make it less awkward, and I failed.
God, the heat between us is so real. Oh my
It's
God.
impossible to have heat with Simon Miller. He's a lovely, lovely man. Ross.
I got carried away writing this one, so if it's a bit too much for you, I do
I'm
apologise.
excited.
Right, so if we look at the graphics for WrestleDream, one thing that we see in all of them is trees. And that's because they're in Washington. And there's lots of trees. Look at the graphics. There's all trees everywhere. I don't know if Joe wants to verify this. Well, I'm talking just to see there are trees everywhere in the graphics for WrestleDream 2024. So isn't it funny that one of the matches taking place sees the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, take on Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor World title. Now, because Mark was okay with it, as it was brought up in what I've termed a consensual promo on TV a couple of weeks back, which means you don't have to be angry about it at home, Chris Jericho is endlessly bringing up Jay Briscoe while putting a beating to the Ring of Honor World Champion. Jay was better than you. You're nowhere near as good as Jay. Dave Meltzer preferred Jay's wrestling style, lol, says Chris to Mark. All these jibes and the heelish beatdown Chris is doing to Mark sees Mark snap. And on the outside of the ring, weapons are used and a DQ finish is brought about in a Ring of Honor World title match. Oh my goodness.
Hello.
I can see why he's been driven to that point.
Yes, but the beating doesn't stop from Mark. In fact, it's so brutal that Big Bill and Brian Keith are also out there and taken out by a hell-bent Mark, with Chris taken off on his own. Chris is forced to run away through the crowd, down the side, and then under the Tron to the backstage area, into the waiting arms of a getaway car, because this is professional wrestling. Chris speeds away in a heelish supercar, with Mark commandeering, that's the word of the day, don't you know, a pickup truck, because redneck, end scene for now. Later in the night, we see footage from a helicopter, with Chris Jericho playing the part of O.J. Simpson, and Mark Briscoe in his little pickup truck, because redneck, just behind. After another match or two, Excalibur lets us know that while the signal may be poor, because we are in the woodlands of Washington State, we've been able to get a camera crew to the scene, and they're tracking down Chris and Mark. The camera crews are seen running after Chris, who is in the process of running away from Mark outside of the vehicles now. My goodness, made the dramas off the scale.
Just imagine Jericho running through the woods with his hair up.
Yeah. Eventually, Chris trips and falls on a branch, and he's on the floor now, which allows Mark to mount him and go to town. Mark is come armed with a taser.
Whoa!
He's come on with a taser from his pickup truck and he electrocutes the F out of Jericho. A stunned Jericho is then hogtied by Mark, who was saying, "My brother would never have done this. You don't know what you've done to me by putting my brother's name in your mouth. You're about to be fried chicken, sucker." If you're not already, that is, because I've already tased your ass. After that, Mark brings the hammer out of his pocket. And on the upswing, just before he brings that thing down crashing towards Chris's head, the camera feed loses signal because they're in the woodlands of Washington. So vast, so dense. We see the next match. We see the next match with people on air wondering what the F has just happened in the woodlands of Washington. And after that match is done, Excalibur says we can now go back to Mark Briscoe, who has a message for everyone watching. The camera sees a remorseful-looking Mark who simply says, "You'll never see that man again. He's done. And in life, you get what you deserve." Meh. Mark walks past the camera, and in the background of shot, we see Jericho, head caved in, drowning in a pool of his own blood. Right. It's the end of Chris Jericho in AEW. Or is it, though? Because the last thing we see is a little bit of a from Jericho, just to signify he's not actually dead and we haven't actually seen a murder. That's right, everybody. Mark Briscoe has left Chris Jericho sort of how like Ted Bundy did with his victims at the Cascade Mountains. It wasn't an actual death, just a prolonged period away from our screens for Jericho. He needs a total refresh and to be used once again in a way that feels like it's benefiting the show rather than feeling like he stroked his own ego while taking TV time away from more compelling characters. And a death-ish is the only way to do that for a long enough time.
Yeah, man. It's a yes from me.
The Ted Bundy line was a bit too far, but I was watching the court cases yesterday on YouTube while I was doing
There you go.
I've been watching the Menendez thing on Netflix, and that led me to Ted Bundy's court case when he's representing himself at the end. Very charismatic guy.
Yeah.
That's how he did the things.
Do you just cheers it? Cheers.
Rest in peace, Ted.
Anyway, it's a yes from me.
Oh, dear.
I like the more serious side of Mark Briscoe. Out of the two Briscoes, Mark was always the more wacky one.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's become... He's a great babyface and everything, but I think he's become a bit too wacky, and I think it's Kyle O'Reilly's fault.
You hate Kyle.
I hate Kyle O'Reilly now.
Why?
Really?
Watch any segment he's in. Jack will always look at Kyle rather than whoever's talking.
Playing guitar.
I used to love Kyle O'Reilly. He was like maybe my favorite member of the Undisputed Era in NXT. I thought he was a hilarious heel. Loved the air guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Loved all that. Now he's like Deadpool. Like, he's like, Mark will do something and Kyle will be looking at us going, he's crazy. I'm sick of it. It works if he's a heel.
Yeah.
But I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Next feud after that pitch, which I've given a yes to, should be Mark versus Kyle.
Oh my god.
Kyle's taken to the woods.
Yeah.
And Von Wagner's there.
Kyle cycles there on his bike that he had that time. Andrew, sorry.
It's a yes for me. That was beautifully played out.
Was
there. Beautifully played out. So would, as Jack was saying, would Mark kind of be more of a serious character? Following this murder angle?
I think it's justified. All the mentions of his brother and whatnot. I think
so.
A different side of him.
And I think I'm ready for him to sort of break away from like the conglomeration stuff as well.
What about the words of the day, though?
You can still have words of the day.
He's commandeered a little
Murder.
pickup truck there. Oh, murder.
Just like the bit at the end where Orange is left with Renee and they just go... So funny, isn't it? I hate the conglomeration.
Wow. So maybe, this is a way to end it then, eh? The fact that you've also got like a little, like all the TikToks and stuff I've been doing where it's got the Linkin Park song and then it's like, there's always a Linkin Park song and then like the body part moves at the end and then the credits roll.
Oh, right.
Like
is it What I've Done?
Yeah.
I saw one with a cat's paw and then it just
That's the one, like that. Yeah. So
that's exactly what I was going for.
That's quite good.
That's
and
not
they have that playing as well in the background.
And then those two guys come on, boom! I give that murder a boom!
Double chocolate chunk cookie.
I had to sit through Tom saying how great they were on the podcast last week. George,
Again, he
remember?
did it.
He powerbombed QT Marshall at like an indie event or something recently.
Oh, good for him.
What a guy.
Yeah,
We'll see him on TV soon in the ring.
I don't begrudge him having a match in AW.
Yeah?
He's in tremendous shape.
Yeah. What if he's part of the conglomeration?
Kind of works.
Yeah, I guess it does.
What's the word of the day, AJ?
double chunk?
No, it's boom.
Oh, sorry.
We bring the boom to you. We bring the boom. Sorry.
I'll do my final one.
Yeah.
No. This one starts on Collision.
I feel bad. Sorry, I feel bad because Big Justice is just a kid, and we're like, you know.
I never said anything about Big.
I'm just insanely jealous. That's all. It is,
Yeah, I know because
One word.
they've managed.
You did ask the other day who's the Rizzler, and then we showed you the Rizzler, and you were like, Can't believe it.
Yeah.
After everything I do, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge this new generation of content
Different
creators who
time.
can just hark to a girl, makes one joke in that, and she's now a podcaster.
Oh, well, she's an industry plant. We know that. She's an Israeli national.
Wait, what?
I saw this on Instagram.
Oh my god!
I don't believe it just for the... Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow,
What a Pitches video.
bloody hell!
How will we book the Hot Tour Girl's career from here on out? She's got the podcast. Where do we go from here?
I don't. Is she going to have any wrestlers on that, do you reckon?
On the thing,
Yeah, on the podcast.
she can't have AJ and Big Justice because one of them's a child. He can't get involved with that sort
Oh,
of
that's a
humour.
good point. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which wrestler's more famous for doing like the Hack Tours?
Hulk Hogan.
Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik, yeah.
Dead.
Yeah, rest in peace, yeah. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan, he's had videos out.
Oh, right,
Before, you know.
When he was doing the hot
Hey, I answered him, so I don't know what he's been on with. Okay, we're heading over to Collision, where we get an in-ring segment involving Camille and TBS champion Mercedes Moné. After gloating about taking out Statlander last week, Mercedes says she and Camille have proved they're the biggest, the baddest, the toughest, the strongest members of the AEW women's roster, and what happened last week should be a lesson to anybody who disrespects the CEO. Bearing in mind, again, this was written before Dynamite, okay, everybody? Calm down. And what do you know? And what do you know? Everything that happened last week must have worked since no one stepped up to challenge Moné for the title at WrestleDream this weekend. Not that anyone is worthy of doing so anyway. Cue Jamie Hayter, everybody, who cuts Moné off and walks to the ring. But before she can say anything, Camille steps between the two and they face off, and them two face off, Hayter and Camille. We get a tantalizing stare down for a brief moment when a furious Chris Statlander attacks Camille from behind, sending the brick house careening into Hayter. Mercedes, at this point, she darts out of the ring whilst Chris looks at Camille. She looks at Jamie, whose lip is now busted open, and just says to Jamie, "She's mine. Is that Camille? I'm gonna get her."
Who won that match last night? Not there's got anything. I'm just
It
genuinely
was
curious.
Willow.
Oh,
won.
they all-
Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, sorry, but Jamie didn't win. She got chased off by a returning Penelope Ford.
Well, she chased her off.
Yeah, she chased her off. Yeah,
Oh.
so therefore it looks like that's probably going to be a program.
It's
so.
the feud nothing against Penelope Ford, but it's what we all wanted when Jamie Hayter came back. We wanted
Oh yeah,
her
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
a non-title feud. Sorry.
So Jamie dusts herself off and she squares up to Chris, but a recruit Camille ambushes them both from behind and a huge brawl ensues. Mercedes even slides a chair in for Camille, who takes both women down. And just when it looks like the heels are on top, here comes interim EVP Christopher Daniels to halt the chaos. Christopher says Mercedes right, she doesn't have a challenger for WrestleDream, but that doesn't mean we can't determine who's next in line to challenge for the TBS title, since she's clearly so eager to defend said title. And Christopher just got word from Tony Khan backstage, yes, tremendous. It's official. At WrestleDream, it'll be Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter versus Camille in a bid to determine who will go on to challenge Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship in November at Full Gear. And we have the match, we have the triple threat match at WrestleDream. And I'm going to say Camille wins it.
Yo!
Because there's tension still between Chris and Jamie, so we can get a big old Hoss feud out of that, which would be lovely.
I bet you would like that.
Oh yeah.
Will they
Not
be licking
rubbing-
their hands as
No,
well?
Sorry.
we don't. Well, who knows what they'll do because I've not booked that bit. But we can get a big old Hoss feud before. Because there was a few things. I like the idea of Camille winning and then there being tension because Mercedes is like, well, you've won, but you're obviously not gonna have a match against me, right?
Yeah.
And there's the tension there. There's also, we get the big Hoss stuff between Chris and Jamie, which would be really fun. And also, I've seen a lot of people obviously complaining about this Chris. Well, it seems like a face turn now that sort of like...
It's not so much the face turn, it's just the fact they split her and Stokely up for
Yeah.
not very good reason. Oh, we're finished with Willow
But I mean,
now,
she's just
so
had
we've
like
got to go separate ways.
a big heel match between her and Willow as well, hasn't she? So it's a little bit weird. So I thought maybe like a feud between her and Jamie where Jamie comes out on top and Chris has to like sort of go on a bit of a journey to redeem herself and get back organically to that babyface position, I guess, which would be quite nice.
I think it's like you've been presented with like a tangled pair of earphones. And you've managed to unpick them very nicely. There's lots of different things that have happened. Obviously, it can't happen now because of Dynamite,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I like it a lot. And I think you've managed to not only do that, but set it off in different directions for different people.
Oh, thanks very much.
I think you've put more thought into the women's division than potentially Tony Khan.
I think you've been presented with like a tangled up hose, a garden hose, and you've got the kink out of it, and you've worked it out wonderfully there.
Completely different
Very
analogies.
similar.
Right? No, it's totally different.
Then the water goes through nice and smoothly, and that's what's happened there. So I'll give you a...
Thanks very much.
Well, I feel like you've been presented with a ball of twine and or a slinky that's lost its mechanism.
Oh, that's hard. No, that's different.
I've never
you can't do that.
untangled a
I
slinky.
once put one of them, Slinky from Toy Story. I once had
The
one
dog?
of them. Yeah.
Heavy
And I-
smoker.
And I tied it. He's a bit, isn't he?
Aye.
I tied it around my waist like a hula hoop, and it got stuck, and I broke it and became very sad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Animal
Could not
abuse, eh?
untangle- Yeah.
That's a
big vegs. That's why I'm a big vegan these days.
really sad bit
Sorry.
of the first Toy Story, that when they've all turned their backs on Woody and even Slinky, and he's like, Slink, no, Slink, Wilson.
He was being a bit of a dick.
He was, yeah, but he
So-
was jealous because Buzzard, he felt
Yeah.
outcast, no one was
Yeah.
listening to him, and the shark was pretending to be him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was. wasn't
Howdy,
it?
howdy.
That sounds like math.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Matthew loves that bit.
Howdy.
He's been in Oberhausen.
Oberhausen.
Again.
Yeah.
With all the people who hate Cultaholic.
No, they're all lovely, really. They're all lovely lads. And then I'm sure...
Snake you working for Cultaholic behind Cultaholic's backs.
Yeah. I saw a podcast once, right, on Twitter. I thought, I really want to give that a listen. It was two wrestling fans doing, I think they'd like going back over some promotion and going through all their shows in that history. And I went, I might listen to this podcast. And I clicked on one of the hosts' names and it was like, you are blocked from viewing this. I was like, I don't even know you.
Oh, that sucks.
So I've not listened to their podcast. I couldn't have brought myself to it. It would have just been... Right, my third pitch. No, this one's fun. This one's happy.
Yay!
You're going to bring us back.
Come on.
The Young Bucks made their entrance for their tag title defense against Private Party. As they do so, Tony Schiavone has passed a note on commentary. He reluctantly reads, he gets in the ring and reluctantly reads that tonight's AEW World Tag Team title match has been cancelled due to an unfortunate incident back in Jacksonville. The Bucks are shocked in the ring, but they're doing like. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I know,
Here
what
we
have they
go.
done? They can't believe it. We hear Matt Jackson audibly say, damn it, I was so excited to defend our tag team titles for these fans. Tony is instructed to direct our attention to the Tron, where we see CCTV footage from Jacksonville Airport the other night. Private Party are blocked from getting on a plane after security received an anonymous tip-off that they were smuggling contraband in their luggage. Back to the arena, Schiavone reads that although it was all revealed to be just a crazy misunderstanding in the end, Private Party were detained overnight, missing their flight and their chance to compete for the tag team titles. The Bucks are like, shucks. We wanted to test ourselves in competition. Just as they're about to leave the ring, they're interrupted on the ramp by Tony Khan, who storms out onto the stage. No, listen, you will not ruin my WrestleDream. Tony Khan got wind of the situation earlier this morning, and he managed to bring in an emergency last-minute replacement tag team. And not only are they two consummate pros who bring their gear to every show, for some reason they also brought custom pay-per-view entrance equipment, and it looks like it's actually paid off. So the Young Bucks, please welcome your new challengers. Two gigantic inflatable electric guitars appear at the top of the stands in the arena, and there's a figure on each one, but we can't quite make out who it is yet. Where have I gone to? The song from Karate Kid starts to play.
Okay.
History repeats itself, try and you'll succeed.
You're the best!
And the guitars start to get the guitars start to get crowd surfed towards the ring, and we see none other than playing air guitar each, the bleached hair and large muscles of Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum, the Outrunners. The crowd are excited, but the Bucks are just laughing. This is going to be an easy night for them. The match begins with the Bucks absolutely taking the piss and running rings around the Outrunners. But Turbo and Truth keep kicking out of pinfall attempts, making hot tags and that sort of stuff. They're putting up an effort. And eventually the Bucks have just had enough of this and think it's time for a super kick party. They pepper the challengers with kicks, but the Outrunners start to no-sell them and fire up like Hulk Hogan. They take control of the match and get a few agonizing near falls, but they can't put the Bucks away. Matthew and Nicholas decide it's time to end this, and one of them distracts... It's Rick Knox, by the way. One of them distracts Rick Knox, while the other one hits a cheeky low blow on Truth Magnum. They scoop him up for the TK driver, But here comes Turbo to push Nick off the apron because he's the one who does the springboard, isn't he? In the ring, Turbo rolls up Matt. 1, 2. Matt reverses it. 1, 2. Turbo reverses it. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And the Outronners.
Yeah!
On the AEW Tag Team Champions, you're the best around, nothing. And I think they have like just a big emotional celebration.
Oh my God.
Now's the time
I know it really.
to do that pitch.
They actually should do it.
Yeah.
I can't think of any tag team who really at the minute would like the Bucks aren't going to lose to any. We'll just have them lose to them in an upset.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else who's ripe at this moment for picking.
Why is it Private Party at the minute? Are they just the next tag team?
Well, it's been like a rebirth, hasn't it? They've got a new theme. By slightly different names now, aren't
They've
they?
been here since day one, pretty much, haven't
Yeah,
they?
they beat the Bucks early on. Yeah.
Sad realization that they've done nothing since beating the Bucks on episode 2 of Dynamite. But that's a shame that they get whizzle-wazzled out of it, but they could be the first contenders, can't they? For
sure.
The Outrunners,
And it can be like rock and roll versus
rap
trap beats. Yeah.
Yo.
Oh yeah, they're more housey, aren't they?
Yeah, they're more. Yeah. We know.
Yeah.
Oh,
rock and
my
roll's the
goodness.
baby face. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I
EDM's
agree.
evil
I-
dance music.
Like it a lot.
I can't believe I was looking at their cage match, Turbo and Truth. I was trying to decide which one gets the pinfall, and it looks like he wrestled much of his early career in Kentucky. But I think one of them was born in Washington State.
Oh, so give.
I think it was.
give
I
that
think it
one
was
the
Magnum.
win.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if there's music being played, why doesn't Rick Boogs come out and play the guitar on top of the stage?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
He would fit in with them.
He'd fit
Yeah,
in with
yeah,
them.
he would.
He'd
Yeah.
fit in with
Go
them.
on then.
You
Yeah.
know? So Rick Boogs is there as well. Well, it's a yes from. Well, it's a yes from me.
Okay.
Jack.
It was a no without Rick Boogs.
No, it was a yes. It was already a yes, even without Rick Boogs. I think you're right. I think Ross is right as well. They should just do something like that. Let's pull the trigger on it. And
Is it true? It's true that they sold the most merch last month or whatever. Like they were the top of the merch.
That rings a
I
bell.
think so. Yeah.
They would, if they appeared on a pay per view, the crowd would know who they were. They'd be like, oh yeah, okay.
They'll be buzzing for it for sure. Yeah. So it's a big yes. I think that maybe should happen. Yeah. I think you're right.
I know.
Yeah. Do it.
But I don't think it'll happen.
No. It's what we want to happen.
I think that would just go down well.
Yeah.
Anyway, those were our 9 wonderful pitches. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. It's WrestleDream this Saturday, and we've got all the coverage you might need.
Yes, today is Wednesday. Pitches video tomorrow. Predictions from myself and Sam. Live stream when the show's going on. I haven't even looked what time it starts. Anyone know in the
same.
room?
No idea.
And
When
I'm
the
quite,
show
I'm
starts?
quite worried because it's on the West Coast.
Oh, does that mean later or earlier?
I think they might just start it at a normal time for the East Coast audience, but I'll have a search now while you...
Oh, go on then. So me and Sam will be live. Maybe Matthew will rock up again. Who knows? This is a fart for the first hour
what?
without a microphone.
Sam-
Did he do that last time?
Him and Sam had been to see a Black Sabbath tribute band.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then Sam came in. And Matthew came in.
Matthew
Dub.
Fulham, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got the directional microphones that only work when you talk in the end of it. Matthew was like over here talking, so so that live stream's there. Coming out the show, what happened up with Jack? What else is there? News a bit?
News, there'll be lists.
Other things?
I think it says here, according to the Sportster, the main card appears to be scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is midnight. But
Okay.
the main card, there'll be a pre-show beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're normally 90 minutes, aren't they? But we'll be live when it goes live. So just come to YouTube, go to Papa.
Yeah.
What's the link in here?
YouTube.com/cultaholic/live.
He knows.
Yeah.
I'll be doing what happened afterwards as well. WTF on the Patreon.
No, Jack, you're ever so slightly mistaken there. Sorry, everybody. Just to clarify, if you take yourselves over to patreon.com/cultaholic, you will see from the copper tier upwards the WTF moments for WWE and AEW pay-per-views, all of them in the calendar, start from Crown Jewel onwards, which is obviously after WrestleDream, so the Patreon doesn't kick off until after WrestleDream and when Crown Jewel happens. But from Crown Jewel onwards, you'll get every single AEW and WWE pay-per-view on the Patreon over at patreon.com/cultaholic. The response so far has been overwhelming. Thank you so much if you've been able to take the time to go over to the Patreon and support us. We really do appreciate it, and that's how we keep stuff alive these days that otherwise we would have to cancel. So thank you very much for the support. Really means a lot. And now here's an awkward end to this video.
Life's a pitch and then you die.
Life's a pitch.
And then you die.
And then you die.